Can you just run through exactly what has been agreed that is new? What further developments did we learn out of yesterday?
Well, yesterday we knew that NATO was going to give 40,000 additional troops to countries in the east of the military alliance, in Bulgaria, Romania, Slovakia, and also Hungary, 4 new battle groups. But I think probably there's been some bigger announcements as far as the European Union and the US have been concerned. We had a joint press conference earlier this morning from Ursula von der Leyen and Joe Biden, so the European Commission president and the president of the United States, obviously. And they've basically agreed to ramp up the imports of liquefied natural gas from the United States into the European Union by at least 15 billion cubic meters annually, with the intention of trying to raise that to 50 billion cubic meters annually in the coming years. Now, this is an intention to try and wean Europe off Russian gas, which is something that they say they want to do at least by 2/3 by the end of this year, but that's going to be extremely difficult, bearing in mind that actually Russian gas imports into the EU amount to somewhere in the region of 150 billion cubic meters a year. So we're talking about sort of 10-15% of the gap to be filled by the United States. But this is also all in the context of Russian President Vladimir Putin saying from now on, he is only going to sell and honor contracts of gas in rubles, not in euros or dollars. So that's throwing a real big spanner in the works for the Europeans.
Certainly, it's so interesting thinking about the dynamics that may well knock on to the UK. Of course, we only import around 3 or just over 3% of our gas from Russia as things stand. We're mainly importers from the United States of America and Qatar. I wonder what the consequences of the Europeans buying a lot more from the Americans will be. Could that potentially ease our supplies? Might that affect the United Kingdom? Or was that not really in the discussion?
Well, I think the issue at the moment is around pricing, obviously, and that could have a knock-on effect. This agreement between the EU and the US could ramp up pricing. We didn't know, they didn't explain exactly how much they're going to be paying for this gas. But obviously, if the supply chains coming into ports in Europe, that could affect the supplies into the United Kingdom. The European Union is about 40% reliant on Russian gas at the moment. Some countries like Bulgaria, for instance, are almost exclusively reliant. And there has been a suggestion that if there were any full energy sector sanctions from the European Union against the Russian gas sector, that countries like that could opt out. The US and Britain have been much, much harder on this regarding their sanctions on the energy sector, but it is less painful, as you say, for those countries to impose those kind of sanctions than it is for the Europeans. So the Europeans are sort of stuck between a rock and a hard place on this issue, and they're really scouting around now. In fact, the foreign policy chief of the EU, who's been attending this, is going to Qatar in the next couple of days to try and negotiate some gas deals there. And again, this starts to build up that competition, which could have a big effect on the British market as well.